I hate Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Okay, maybe not hate, but I'm really mad at it. Not because it's a terrible game, it's not. It's actually really good, which only makes things worse. I resent it because it annoys the hell out of me, makes me grind my teeth in frustration every time I play it. I want to like the game, to play through it to the end and to enjoy the story, but it just won't let me do it. This video might be overdue, but I've been stewing in this anger and annoyance for over a month now, debating whether to record it at all and alienate the people who love the game unconditionally, or to keep my mouth shut. I have legitimately not played it since February 18th. I checked on Steam, because I got too annoyed to continue. Anyway, join me for a cathartic rant in which I explain why I couldn't finish Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The game is immensely immersive. I absolutely love the historical accuracy and the quaint life of European Middle Ages depicted here. I like the story-focused campaign. I like the forest I walk through. They look just like the ones I grew up near in Poland. What I don't like is all the minor annoyances and time wasters that the devs decided to force on the player. All these seemingly minor issues built up more and more resentment inside me until I just couldn't play anymore. I know I'm not alone in this, because the most downloaded mods for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on the Nexus are unlimited saving with over 300,000 downloads, and instant herb picking with over 200,000. Then we have easy smithing, more carry weight, richer merchants, crosshair for shooting, you get the picture. Things to fix what's annoying. Let's start with the obvious, Savior Schnapps. You cannot save the game unless you drink a special potion. There is the save and quit option, and you can save when sleeping, but not simply from the menu. Why? Just because. Because the devs don't want you to. You can still save and exit, then restart the game, and you have your save and can keep playing. You also just wasted possibly several minutes restarting the program for no good reason. The functionality is there, you're just not allowed to use it. What were the developers thinking when implementing this limitation? Probably something like, play our game the way we tell you. I am an adult, playing a single-player RPG. Let me save the damn game when I want to. It's not competitive, it's not cheating. Some may say this feature is immersive. How? How is it immersive? Normally saving the game is an afterthought, just something you do. Click a button, then continue playing. Not here. I have to actively think about a way to save my game so I don't lose an hour of progress to a random bandit ambush. This is not fun, nor is it immersive. It's simply an annoyance. Remember the unlimited saving mod I talked about earlier? 300,000 people went out of their way to download it. I don't know the exact sales numbers for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but it was 2 million in the first 2 weeks. Let's suppose it's 3 million now. That would mean 10% of people who got the game felt annoyed enough that they went to the Nexus, downloaded a mod, installed it, just to get rid of Savior Schnapps. Even if the sales were 10 or even 30 million, 300,000 players would still be a significant number. The developers are not blind. I'm sure they know many people hate this save mechanic, and they could fix it with one simple tweak. They just don't want to. I suppose it makes the game unique in a way, but that's not always a good thing. Speaking of Savior Schnapps, potions, let's move on to Herbalism and Alchemy. It's a significant part of the game, and I actually like the concept quite a lot. Want to sleep better, recover? Use chamomile. I do that when I get sick. Hell, I did that just yesterday after I got a bit too cold when working in my garden. Nettle, sage, mint, real herbalism with real stuff we use here in Central Europe. Not some made-up fantasy cures. It makes perfect sense and fits the game seamlessly. Only it takes 20 minutes to just gather the herbs because the game plays a picking animation every time you take one. Just make the herb disappear when I click on it. I don't need to see Henry squatting every single time. But alright, we got the herbs. Time to brew. Great visual and sound design on the Alchemy station. I especially like the sound of the clay jugs scraping. Grinding the herbs, timing the boiling cauldron, it's a fun minigame, it really is. For the first 5 or 10 times, maybe even 30 times. But you're not going to be doing this 5 or 10 times. If you want to be well prepared with all the potions you need, you will do it hundreds of times throughout the game. You're literally grinding, pun fully intended, in a single player game. The first game in the series, Kingdom Come Deliverance, had a special perk that let you automatically brew potions that you made before. Just bring in ingredients, press a button, done. You got a weaker potion, but you didn't have to go through a minigame. You know, in case you don't want to spend an hour in a minigame. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 removed the perk. why it was a perfect solution. But they spent time developing the minigame, so by God you will play it whether you like it or not. You could argue that Alchemy is optional, and that's valid. However, skipping Alchemy leaves you at a disadvantage. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has something good and unique in it. I just wish the developers focused more on player enjoyment. I think it's an issue of design philosophy. Many tasks are time wasters, filler, something the player has to get through rather than something they will enjoy doing. For example, when you start the smithing minigame, the game tells you to try and strike your hammer to Henry's whistling, so you don't get bored. They know it's boring. Here's an idea, maybe don't make a boring minigame for it. Or let us skip it. Let's move on to combat. There is a huge variety of weapons that you can use in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Swords, maces, axes, swords, polearms, bows, swords, crossbows, guns, and even swords. They're all good as long as they are swords. Okay, maybe I'm being a bit unfair here. You can play the game effectively with any weapon. The problem is that swords are just so much better than anything else. See, Kingdom Come Deliverance has a system of manual melee combat, with different strikes, feints, blocks, combos, so on. I don't really like the system, and thus prefer to use ranged weapons, but I recognize it's a matter of preference, and some might love it. What is the problem then? Master strikes. Unblockable, retaliatory strikes that let you defeat almost any foe in a duel. They are so good that they immediately become your go-to in pretty much any fight. And only swords get them, which makes swords much stronger than all other melee weapons. This would not be a problem if other weapons got equally strong moves, so it might be fixed in the future, but for now, Henry is supposed to use a sword, or he will be weaker. Let's talk about the combat system some more. It's the same fencing system we know from the first game, but refined and improved. I hated it in the first game, here I just don't really like it. It is much better. Basically, you observe your opponent and adjust where your strikes come from. Like I said, you can riposte, block, feint and all that. It is definitely an interesting system and a good attempt to simulate melee combat. It is not very noob-friendly though. I know it's a skill issue and I should just get good, but it definitely needs some refinement. And I wish it was easier to master. On the plus side though, there are trainers and you can just go to them and exercise yourself in using the system. But for example, a few times I've had my longsword blocked by unarmed enemies, as in a guy literally blocked my sword with his fists. Now I tried reproducing it for this video and failed, so it might have been a bug, but still it was quite bizarre. Speaking of different weapons, bows. Not just bows, other ranged weapons too, but I'm an archery enthusiast, so I care about bows the most. There is no crosshair for targeting. I suppose it is an immersion thing because you don't have a targeting reticle on a longbow in real life, but in real life you use your entire body, instincts and muscle memory for aiming. Here we only have the screen. The reticle is supposed to help with that. I'm not saying that it should be turned on by default, but at least give me the option in the menu. It can't be difficult. I haven't checked in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but the first game literally had a console command to enable it. Player choice is a good thing, and the mods prove that many people want a crosshair for their bow. It's not a competitive game, just give us the option. Let's move on to mission design. There will be some spoilers from now on, so stop watching if you mind them. Many missions are good and interesting, but there are some that seem like they're designed to annoy the player. Some mild examples would be the drunk huntsman you have to carry around, or looking for the guns with Kubienka. To some, these would be annoying, to others they might be comedic. But what absolutely takes the cake is the escape from Trotsky Castle and the Storm quest. Again, spoilers. The quest starts really well. You get imprisoned, tortured, and then sprung from the dungeon. You prowl the castle, sneak around guards, or take them out, and then you have a climactic plot moment. All very nice. There are only a couple of guards at the castle because von Bergov took most of them with him. It is very satisfying to essentially solo the entire castle. The problems start after you leave. See, you escape unnoticed through a secret tunnel because there is an intense storm and there are almost no guards. You get out, and no one is the wiser. Only when you get out of the escape tunnel in Apollonia, which is a rocky region in the first area, the woods are suddenly crawling with people searching for you in a well-coordinated effort. You have to sneak through a huge swath of forest, which is really tedious, but most importantly, the mission makes no sense at all. How did they even know you escaped? How do they know that the secret escape tunnel exists and leads to Apollonia, but not its exact location? Where did they suddenly get 100 men in the middle of a night and a storm to search for you. They were supposed to be so short-staffed that there were just 4 or 5 guards in the castle. And finally, how did they organize a huge, coordinated search party in the time it took you to get through an escape tunnel? I can't stress enough how bad this mission is. And finally, the story. I have very mixed feelings about the story of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. On the one hand, the game's creators took real, historical characters and circumstances and managed to create a compelling game out of that. That's almost unheard of. On the other hand, the main story thread requires immense amounts of suspension of disbelief. It's like every character is an idiot. Again, spoilers for the first half of the game because that's how far I got. At first, your party gets attacked by Ziska, or Zizka? I think Zizka. Why? Because they talk to von Bergov's men. It's important to note that Zizka and our group were formerly on the same side in the Civil War, and there is absolutely no way Zizka would miss the extensive heraldry that Hans was wearing. So he attacked and tried to kill an ally's messenger and heir for being a messenger. Seeing Ratai's heraldry, again, of an ally, any sane commander would not attack or at least try to talk to them first. Maybe surround them with a superior force and only then talk. Maybe demand to see the letters, but not just attack and kill them. These events paint Zizka, a seasoned and shrewd commander, as an absolute idiot. Next up, Henry and Hans cozy up to von Bergov and do whatever he says, even after the Chamberlain tried to execute Hans. This is a stretch, but you can excuse that by both of them being immature and naive, which they kind of are. But then, after Zizka reveals his identity, they are suddenly best buds with him, even though the captain killed their friends in the ambush at the start. It's just so flippant. I get it, the story needs to happen, but I really wish they spent more time working on this aspect and making it believable. Maybe have the initial attack perpetrated by some sub-commander who was deceived, or the result of a betrayal. They did have a mole after all. But no, Zizka was there himself. He saw the heraldry. The game's creators did a really good job with the small immersion elements, but the main story really could have been better planned. It's not bad, it's just not very believable, at least to me. I think I'll end my rant here. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a very good game. It's also annoying as hell. It does a lot right, like immersion or changeable outfits, the story set pieces and memorable characters. Still, it could be so much better without all these minor issues that take me out of it. As is, I'd rate the game at maybe 8 out of 10. It could have been a 9 or a 10. It is still good, still worth playing for any RPG enthusiast. I just can't bring myself to finish Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 as it is now, or to love it as much as I love games like Witcher 3, Fallout New Vegas, Planescape Torment, Arcanum, or Baldur's Gate 3. Good news is that most of these issues can be fixed by patches or mods, so I will recommend that you play the game after modding it. It is unfortunate that these mods are necessary at all, and that's my main gripe with the game, but it doesn't invalidate all the good aspects. I think I'll wait for a couple more patches, mod it some more, and then try finishing it again. Thank you for listening to my rant, and that's all for today. Goodbye.